We all know that mostly for the rural areas, the difficulties to meet the requirements and the standards of the market are huge. So connection becomes something absolutely important. So we will try to cover that first with Mr. Chowdhury. BRAC banks, please tell us from the perspective of the exporters, again, what do you think that are the main challenges you think the exporters are facing to really access first the domestic market? And we have talked a lot also about regional market before getting to international market. Please tell us a little bit.
Good morning, Madam And regarding the challenges that the rural SMEs face, rural exporters, rural agricultural producers and SMEs regarding export is that they don't get enough support from the trade support institutions. Like the trade support institutions are mostly city-centric. They are all their agendas are city-based, so the urban-based SMEs are at advantage. And another issue is that the local TSIs, they are not well connected, and they are mostly manned by people who are not well trained enough to unlock the export potentials of agricultural producers. And there is another issue of the capacity of the national trade support institutions because they cannot make the connection between the international market, let alone the regional market as well. So what happens is that the rural producers, they remain farm gate producers, and what happens is that there are aggregators based in the urban areas who source from them and export them. So to make the farm gate producers able to tap the export market, there should be, I think, vibrant support from the trade support institutions. And also another challenge that the rural exporters face is that there is a lot of informational asymmetries. Like they cannot really interpret the price signals or what are the non-tariff barriers. They cannot comply with the standards. So they need a lot of hand-holding. And in Bangladesh, we have seen that there is an agri-export bias, anti-export bias because of local context issues. Like there are certain policies that drive the demand of agricultural products within Bangladesh. So the government, to ensure food security at times, slaps some restrictions on export. And that's why rural exporters, they would rather trade locally than dwell into the export market. And another issues that we have found with the SMEs is that rural-based SMEs, that they are not capable to negotiate with the importers abroad. So one thing is that they need a lot of hand-holding in that capacity, and price negotiation and how to devise the terms and conditions of the trade that would take place. This is one thing that we have seen from BRAC Bank that the rural-based agricultural producers and the SMEs are facing.
Absolutely, on top of the fact that mostly they are not organized,
yes.
They compete among themselves, yes. They really do not have access to information. Yeah, absolutely, which is really critical to meet really the buyer requirements. Yes. So how do you think, in your point of view, you see that all those bottlenecks which involve a high transaction cost at their level, which then hinder their competitiveness? How do you see that?
You see, like for them, actually having access to finance is itself a challenge. Mm-hmm. So when they have challenges like this, the cost of transaction is not necessarily an impediment from them. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, I think the cost actually arises from the fact that they don't have consultancy services, like translation services or some dedicated support service. to allow them to negotiate with their counterparties. This is one thing. And another thing is that the banks, they are not capacitated to do this handholding. There should be some standalone for-profit organizations who would be doing this, because in that case, it would be a sustainable business for them. And also, since the SMEs, rural-based SMEs, they don't have the capacity or the expertise to have the manpower or to do these things. So they need this sort of business consultancy service or trade support service. This is one thing. And another thing is that the communication, there should be some communication modalities, because they are not really able to enjoy the benefits of technology like internet and those trade portals. So this should be available to them. There should be some e-commerce solutions to where they plug in and they can get the information they need to make their business decisions. This is one thing. And one thing is that they also lack policy support, like for regional trade, like even with neighboring countries, there are a lot of blockades which they are not really in a position to voice their concerns. So this is where the policy support is also needed. That's all about it.
What solution do you provide? Do you have some specific innovative solutions as the BRAC Bank, being so close to all of these issues?
Well, you see, like I told you, like the bank is not capacitated to do this on commercial basis, but since we have a SME focus, we take it upon ourselves to provide translation services. We also have this, like we do since they are not capacitated to deal with documentation, so the bank takes the responsibility of preparing the export documents, like liaising with the counterparties, and do this on advisory role. But I mean, this is done on a selective basis. But if you want to make it commercially viable, it has to be on scalable, and it's better that this solution is provided by some TSIs or some private organizations for profit basis. And another thing that I think, like the innovative solutions that we are providing them is that we are actually customizing our trade solutions. Like we offer them back-to-back LC structures. We do their payment negotiations so that the accounts, like the cash to cycle, cash to receivable sales cycle can be monetized for them. We are doing these things, but which we do nonetheless for the corporate bodies. But to do this for the rural exporters or SMEs, we need a scale, which is really not there because of the information asymmetries. This is one of our views.
Definitely, definitely. But listening to you, I see some specific, let's say, financial services.
Yes.
Whereas before providing those financial services, I see really type of, ce que j'appelle la chaîne avant, before the access to finance services, which is really helping them get organized, which is critical for me in terms of reducing the transaction costs and let you, as the banker, really believe that you can lend money to these people. That upfront operational arrangements.
Yes, we actually...
what model can you share with us?
The model that we can do, we can actually replicate what we have done for women entrepreneurs. We have a cell that actually helps the women entrepreneurs. We also have a cell that actually...
But how do you do it?
We have our loan officers based on rural areas.
Okay.
They take help from the centers and roll out these programs.
Okay.
Interactive programs.
So proximity, you are very close to them first, which is very important.
And the issue is that it has to be led from the center, because the resources that would be required to do this business counseling or business mentoring, they would not be willing to reside into the rural areas. So it has to be devised in some sort of a program which can be disseminated at rural areas through our loan officers. This is one thing we are working on. And the mentoring service, we are trying to tie up with the trade support institutions to provide them insight on international trade and how they can be linked with the rural producers and the SMEs there. And actually, if you look at Bangladesh context, 80% of our export is textile and clothing, and the SMEs there, they have all the supports they need. But for the non-traditional exports like food stuff and processed food or light engineering industry, there's practically no support structure available. So this is where I think there is a debate going on who should actually come forward, whether it is the banks or some government or private sector joint effort to come up with these solutions like business incubators to promote these ideas and channelize them into actionable agendas.
Absolutely, very, very important. But I guess all of this has a cost. Who bears the cost of all of this?
Yes, of course, like I told you, I think if they can be devised as business models like translation service and trade portals so that for a nominal fees, paying a nominal fees, the SMEs, they can avail these services. Because if it is left to the TSIs to do that for gratis, I don't think it would work because it won't be really commercially viable then.
Absolutely.
This is the idea that we are working on, and unless there is no commercial meaning to it, it won't really evolve.
Okay, absolutely.